the audacity to go after what matters. Here we choose courage over comfort, risk over routine, and true impact over applause. If you're listening, you're ready to lead with empathy, embrace the unknown, and unlock a version of yourself that's bold enough to change the world. So let's lean in, let's lead, let's go for it. Today, I'm so excited to introduce you to my friend, a leader, and an amazing human, Randy Gordey. Randy is founder of Gordeyville Customs and an accomplished entrepreneur who truly exemplifies what it means to lean and to lead. Welcome to the podcast, buddy. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hey, thanks, Trevor. Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and so I want to hit you hard right out of the gate here. And I've been thinking a lot about this and was so excited for this opportunity to have this chat with you. I know you and I spent a lot of time talking, but I want the world to really get an opportunity to know who you are and you know what makes you you, and to learn about your company and what you want to do with it. And I know you are a heart-centered leader, but I want to lead with, you had an amazing job. You had an amazing career, enviable one, with a company that paid you well, had the benefits, had all this stuff, and you could have spent a lifetime there. And what made you decide to just, you know, say, I'm just going to go for it?
Yeah, man. Honestly, I had crew trucks my whole life and was a blue collar redneck up in northern Grand Prairie, Alberta up here. And honestly, I loved what I did. I worked my whole life in the crew truck oil field industry and worked my way up into that foreman role finally with the guys that we were working for. And then that's what I thought I wanted, to be honest with you. And then I got it. And then really once I got into the office and once I think I was pretty good at what I did, but then realized that being in an office or a corral with gates on it, it wasn't for me. I don't think I didn't succeed at what I did. I wasn't fulfilling what I was supposed to do, to be honest with you. I kind of felt anxietied up all the time. I just wasn't, I don't know. I'm not going to say I wasn't happy, but I just wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. So I just thought long and hard of it. And then I built crew trucks my whole life, like all the way through. I've always built them, dealt with it. And then once people kind of found out that I was kind of dabbling and maybe leaving, that door opened up an inch or two. And then I made the decision with the wife and said, hey, you know, if we get 2 or 3 trucks, we have to, you know, my dream would be to work out of our house or work out of the farm and work out of the shop. So that door opened, and then instantly we had trucks to build, and I made the decision to pull the pin and talk to our superintendent. And he knew. He said, Gordey, we knew that we couldn't keep the squirrel in the cage for very long. You're too you, right? So so they let me go with honor, or I left with, you know, it was a good leave for sure. And then that's kind of how that ball got rolling.
Yeah, well. And so I can attest to you that you were really good at what you did, and I've had the opportunity to work with you in the past. So you're always good at what you do. And so when you left, and I think it's funny, not funny. I love this stuff. It's like if I get 3 trucks, which is probably the equivalent of a month's worth of wages, maybe 2 months worth of wages, maybe not even. Yeah. And you're like, you know, dear, when we get 3, I'm quitting my job. And we're gonna start working out of the shop or on the farm.
That's honestly how it went. It was the comfort zone was great. I had, I've never had an office role before, but I worked for these guys for a lot of years, from there where they were at ground zero, and worked our way up through the hard and good times with these guys. And then, like I said, once I got into the office and where I thought I was supposed to be, like where you worked up, it was just like, this isn't for me. So I did that. And then once I did honestly pull the pin, it wasn't that it was a weight lifted off. I think I was more excited. Like I don't know how to say it, where you're not, when in life, when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, like I have a couple friends are farmers now, and when they're pulling wrenches in the compressor mechanics, they always knew what they wanted to do, and now they're farming, and they're great at it. Even though farming might suck, they're happy. And even like what we're doing now, some months are horrible. We don't know if there's work coming in, but it's just a different mentality. You're happy. I just think that's another thing that you got to believe in too, is happiness. Like, if you're not happy in what you're doing and you're not driven by anything, it's really hard to stay doing what you're doing. So that was another one.
Yeah, yet so many people stay stuck there. You and I have these conversations lots, right? But so many people, they get into these positions where they get the good job and they get this stuff, and I don't fault them at all or condemn them or look down on them. I understand, the amount of courage that it takes to go. But you said something that really touches me, and I think it will with our audience as well. And that is fulfillment. You were doing something, and it wasn't, I think you said, I'll paraphrase, it wasn't bad. It just what didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And you left and took all this risk to go and do something because you didn't feel fulfilled.
Well, and it was really funny. We got into the compressor vibration stuff, what I was doing, and I kind of took that on with one of our compressor mechanic, with our head guy at where I work, New Vista, and he was my pusher. Like, once he found out what I could do, then I kind of got into doing that for the whole company. And then once that got going, then it was another door that I got to do, right? It was something that I've always welded my whole life, not necessarily like a welder, but I've grown up with it. I do it. I understand it. And then when we got into this harmonic welding, this really, intricate stuff and how to do it, then that was a new interest. And then we kind of rolled with that for a while. And then that's when I think my doors got opened up a little bit about maybe, where the happiness and doing what you love is supposed to mean something in life. Like, after there was a part there when we kind of got caught up with all of it, and it was kind of like I was empty. I was like, I didn't have really nothing to look forward to anymore, which sounds really weird, but and that's when we started, I chatting the idea about maybe pulling the pin. And then once I started thinking about it, then I couldn't unthink, like, that's all I thought about.
Yeah.
So once we decided, and then once I gave myself, the 3 truck rule, then it's like, okay, so then I was almost motivated to tell people, but not tell people. Like, I wanted to quit, but I didn't want to quit. So, but when I did it, it was good. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the 3 truck rule. I love that. I'm going to use that to help other people make a decision on whether to go and start their own thing or not when they're feeling passionate about it. So you touched on something, and that was, I know that you worked with some incredible leaders and you've worked with some people and you left on great terms. And I know that for sure. But who are some mentors or who are some people in your life or some examples of times where you were working for somebody? And I think that, you were even encouraged to, by a few of them, even when you were working for them, to really go and follow your heart.
Honestly, like at the beginning there, I worked for Garth Kramer with EOG, top shelf guy. Let you do your own thing, just as long as you did your work. That's when I learned about, you treat people or your job with respect, and it'll treat you back. And then I went from there to New Vista. I worked with them guys for, I think it was 12 or 14 years. I don't know exactly how long it was, but Jamie Guerin, Vern Crone, he was our superintendents. Them guys really kind of molded me into being like, I was still only a crew truck guy, but I was kind of maybe I don't know. I'm not going to call it head crew truck guy, but I started from the beginning with the company. And then when they come and ask me to come back as as a foreman type role, Eldon Weaver, he's on their mechanical side of things in the office, the rotating equipment. He took me under his wing and really honestly mentored me when it comes to like even like mental, anxieties, the just the push throughs, what expectations are, the know-hows and the stuff that you don't know. Like, you can't ask a question if you don't know. Like if you don't, I can't ask the right question, I guess, if you don't know. Super, like, I owe that guy. Like, he honestly, without him and kind of pushing me in the direction is kind of why I'm here too. He's like, don't be ever afraid to take the jump. He's like, if you want to go build 1-tons and truck decks and you have to what you're passionate about, like you're telling me what you already know. And that's the comfort zone, right? Like, I was a company guy. You can't quit. Like, I'm not a quitter, and nobody is, but you're not really quitting. You're doing what you're driven to do. So that's the way I looked at it. That's kind of how Eldon forced me to think about that, and it made it way easier to think, like, to, if you're leaving and you're not thinking you're letting anybody down, it's really easy to leave. Like, and then they respect you for it too. So yeah. That's kind of how that went, and it was super good.
Yeah. So this whole show is really about heart-centered leadership and servant leadership. And my opinion on this, I believe that every organization's primary objective should be to help people improve their lives. And that's a great example of that, what Eldon did for you, right? Because I know that he wouldn't have wanted to lose you or have you leave the company that he was a part of because of the value you added. But on the other hand, here was a guy saying, you got something burning in your heart, and I want you to go. I want to help you get to the place where you feel comfortable to go and do what you're meant to do. 100%. And so often I think people end up feeling stuck because we don't want to quit, and we don't want to leave the job, and there's a lot of risk to it, and we've talked about that a lot. And how did Robin and your family react? The 3 truck rule. I know you've been very entrepreneurial your whole life. Actually, you talk about where you got into these roles, but I know that you've been entrepreneurial and you've done some other crazy stuff as well with your career along the way. But how did she roll with all of this?
I was getting to the point where I wasn't sleeping. Like, it was almost, I'm not going to say affecting my health, but it was almost affecting my health. Like, it was to the point where, like, my anxiety was out of control, and it was nothing really to do with the job. Like, it wasn't that it was just, I feel like I'm a perfectionist. Like, if things aren't absolutely in place with everything that's going on, then I feel like I'm not doing something right. And when I left, like, New Vista was at 5 or 6 gas plants, and just not that I was overlooking all of that. I was only overlooking a small little picture of that, but just a lot of moving parts. I've always been good at doing the work and getting the work done and just handling that part of it. But when it come to managing the whole picture, I feel that's where I got overwhelmed. And then them guys started, there was like, we had a Muddy Boots program for that. And then once I got to learn the steps of how to manage the stress part of it, I was getting better. And really, honestly, if I knew now what I knew then, it would probably be way better. But it's still that empty soul, right? Like, I wasn't doing what I was, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And to be honest with you, it's when I would do some of these bracketing on some of these big compressor engines or whatever else, that's when I got excited. Like, that's honestly, even though, like, masking up when it was 30 below or whatever else, I was okay with all that stuff. But what really was satisfying is when you had a problem and you dealt with it and it got fixed. And then, like, I've always been a perfectionist that way. Like, I've always been driven that way. But yeah, it was good. How Robin dealt with it, well, it was scary. Like I said, the anxiety at that point was getting to the point where I wasn't sleeping. I went to the when you're going to the doctor to try to see what's going on, and he's like, well, the new 80 is 35 or 45 now. So when you're stressed out like that, it's up to you. You know what your problem is. You're stressed out, you're amped up, so that's when we had to make a change. So we just said, hey, whatever makes you happy. And my family, like, she's been supportive the whole, whatever we do, it's always been together. She's always been good that way. So when we decided to do it, it was honestly, it took me 6 months to decide to do it. On and off, on and off. Are we going to do this? Well, and then I get excited. I mean, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit today. And then I chicken out. Like, I can't do it. But once we did it, it was just like this huge weight lifted off. And then the posse rounded up and be like, Dad, it's like, you're just so different. You're happy. It's going to be okay. You know, and it was. We transitioned over a month. We started, and we started working on some trucks. The next thing, another truck come, and then another truck come, and then pretty soon, well, I can't keep up. I need help. So then we hired a guy, and then the rest is history, Trevor. It's just honestly been a blessing. It's just been go, go, go.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for something here before we talk more about what you actually do and what your business is and kind of the future of that and you know, what you're going to do. I know you have some big plans and you're going to go and smash it, but you know, you're a hardworking, you know, type A, grew up in the country. You know, man, you've played the sports, you've gone to the rodeos, you've done all this stuff. But here you are being open enough and vulnerable enough to share that, you know, you were having anxiety and that you were trying to figure out what was causing it, and you weren't sleeping, and there was some emotional angst going on in your life. And that's not an easy thing to talk about. I do a lot now, but didn't at one time, as you know. And so for you to, you know, come on here and share that's going to have a huge impact, and it's going to be really, really helpful, Randy, to the listeners. And so, you know, thank you for that. And I applaud you for it, because it's, you know, it's not an easy thing to talk about.
I didn't realize until after I quit how my demeanor in life changed. I didn't, not that I was angry or sad but I'm happy now. I was okay then, but I was in a shell. Like and I don't know, it's hard to explain. I wasn't myself. And it's nothing to do with the people that I worked for. Like, I had the best place I've ever worked, honestly.
Yeah.
But as soon as I left and come home and just started doing this, everything, you think different. You have a different purpose. Once you figure out that what you're doing is for you, and you're okay with pushing forward for what lies ahead of you, man, I just, all these doors just keep opening now that my horizon has opened, and I'm happy, and you think about, you bring about, you know, like, it's just, I don't know. I'm a believer in it. It's things are happening. So.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about mindset, and I know that you've had an incredible shift in mindset and sort of how you think about accomplishing goals and attracting things into your life. And I've been, you know, just to be fully transparent, I've talked a lot about the fact I know you, and I've probably led you down the path a little bit here, but I've known you for like, I don't know, 20, 30 years. And I've got to actually see some of the transitions and some of the things, and remarkable, you know, it's remarkable with that mindset shift and how things are just, you know, things are happening, and they're happening fast for you. And that, you know, that's hard work. And it's a dedication. It's a support network. It's having a loving family that's like, okay, we got you. But it also has a lot to do, I believe, with the mindset that you
100%
have.
It does. 100%. Yeah. We have good friends of ours too that are huge manifestors. They believe, like, even just the way they talk, that once you get rid of the negativities in your life, it's a game changer. I can't push that enough on anybody. Like, even just the way you talk, and our friends know who they are. Hugh and Joe, like, they went through really, really tough times. Bounced back, started doing, like, we did the manifestation stuff with you, Trevor, and helping us too. Even just the way you say things, or I hope, or hopefully, now it's like, well, when this happens, or, you know, it's just when you take that out of your mind, the universe works in a weird way, and it just does. It happens. our boy Cooper is down in Colorado in Bible school, and even just having his presence around with his different shift in from when he graduated to what he is now, it's changed the whole household. Like it's presenting. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I know you're doing the work on that too. And I have a friend who says who you are is how you lead. And, I believe that our thinking, our thinking affects our feelings, and our feelings affect our actions. And I believe that very, very much. And also when you shift the energy around you and your family, I know is doing this as well, how it has such a positive impact. And, it really is about filling ourselves up first, and talk about the champagne glass pyramid a lot, but you've gone out and done it. And that's really what I want everybody to that's listening to this to know. Like, you're a guy who, you moved up, like you're very, very accomplished, and, you got into this place, but you still have these, these emotional experiences, and you didn't only go and build your business, and that you're going to crush it. There's no question about it. And we'll get in that in a minute, but you also did a lot of inner work, and the impact that had. And I know that your family did as well. And I want to applaud you for that. It's admirable that you because that's not easy stuff to do either. So,
it was when we left. It's different when you have a safety net. I didn't have a safety net. It was we had a month or two of money put aside to make the payments, living. And then we just decided to quit cold turkey, and we're going to start a fab shop and build trucks for them. Okay? In the real world, it shouldn't work, right? But it did. We scraped by, and we're still learning and learning the ropes, and doing stuff with banks, and buying equipment, and but I think when you don't have a safety net, and you totally go out of your comfort zone, and you push your limit right off the bat, I feel like it paves the road for you ahead, because what your limits are right off the bat. Like, I probably shouldn't have done what I did at that point and just went with it, but mentally it was the right thing to do, and the timing was right. So it's like the work was there, so we just did it. We jumped in with both feet, and then, like I said, the family was there. Robin's been great. Everything's been good. It's like they say, no risk, no reward. Well, I feel like I did that.
Yeah. Well, and I can attest that you have an incredible family, like you do. Your kids are respectful, and they've grown up well, and work hard, and they got good hearts, and all of that stuff. And so, I applaud you for that as well. You guys have done a really good job of raising some good human beings that are going to have a positive impact on the world as well. But you said something. I have a buddy who was like, when he decides to do something, he burns the boats. He says, I'm all in, and there is no going back. And oftentimes he's gone and started stuff at the time where he said, was probably the most opportune time for him to do it. Sometimes forced into a direction where it's like, well, I got nothing to lose anyway. But sometimes he's been like, I just decided to go for it. And I just, I made sure I didn't have an escape route. And there's probably something to be said for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ballsy or crazy, but a bit of both. So I want to talk a bit about, Gordeyville Customs, and, we talked a lot about you, and, kind of what makes you and your family. But I want everybody listening to really know what you do, and what your plan is for the future.
So like I said, we started 2 years ago building crew trucks and deck trucks, and, all around just the crew truck world. That's what I knew. I ran crew truck for 21 years. Excuse me. So we started doing that. And then out of the blue, a year into it, CDN Controls asked us to build a barbecue trailer, or if we would be interested in. A friend of ours that owns Sundown said, "Hey, give Randy a call. I'm sure he can figure it out." So they gave me a budget, and we built this barbecue trailer and knocked it out of the park, because it's just like anything. Whatever you do first, you got to make sure it's it's got to be up to everyone's eye or our eyes anyway. It's got to be up to our standard, and we knocked it out of the park. And that was I think that was a year and a half ago. And now, so we built one for CDN first, and then we built another one for a company out of Dawson Creek. And then we had another local trucking company asked to do, he wanted a granddaddy barbecue, triaxle, like sink barbecue, serving area, cutting board. Like it's actually
just like, I mean, I know, cause I've saw it, and I know you helped build one years and years and years ago as well. But like, just to explain, I mean, when you say barbecue, most people are going like, oh, that's awesome. That's wicked. I put it on my deck, and I can cook 8 steaks on it instead of 4. That's perfect. Like, what is this thing?
So this thing basically, so we wanted to build our own barbecues right off the hop, but there's a lot of, I'm not going to say red tape. There's a lot of work into getting your CSA approvals and stuff to building an actual gas propane barbecue. So we reached out and we teamed up with Crown Verity. And now, so we get whatever barbecue size that we want. We customize the trailer around what you want. So basically, some of these trailers have like 72-inch 6-foot barbecue grills on them, and then
that's taller than me.
Yeah, there's a few hot dogs you can cook on there, and then there's a cutting board, a custom made cutting board at the front of this thing. The barbecues on the passenger side, kitchen sink, garbage disposal on it, coolers at the back, pressure washer. I mean, it's got everything on it. There's a serving table on it with power for crock pots, and this is what. So that's what this is. It's a mobile kitchen on wheels, really.
Yeah. So how long are these things? Like
that one there, I think it's 22 feet.
Yeah.
It's not an enclosed trailer. Like it's an open trailer, but it's just an open concept barbecue trailer, or a grilling trailer, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy wanted it with, like he said, we started out small, and then once we drew the first rendering, he's like, well, it'd be cool to have this and this, and then we did that, and then it's like, well, a sink would be cool, and then it's like, well, now, like, I can't go up, so I gotta make it longer. We have the third axle. And then the stereo come, and the other cooling trailer, or the other trailer, or drawer for another cooler, and just storage, and it's just so then we built this for him, and that was last June, and that went like. We just took a few videos of it and posted it on Facebook, and then that got shared. I think we did a little clip on it, and I think we got 250,000 views in the first week.
Yeah.
And then now, so that was in August, and now we've quoted out, I think, 22 barbecue trailers, and have 5 or 7 on the go to build. Yeah. And then we got to do about 15 follow-ups here just to see. So the barbecue world for us is really where we can really expand our imagination, because like a truck deck, don't get me wrong, it's my roots, it's what made us our bread and butter, but the barbecue trailers, man, I tell you, that gets our blood flowing, and everyone that talks that about you is. It's not work. It's happy, right? It's awesome.
It's a barbecue. Come on. And so, I'll definitely, I will reshare that video too. And I will as well through my social network. But like, if anybody has never saw this, it's just even hard to comprehend how amazing these things are, and the detail and the quality, and just, I mean, they're just awe-inspiring. And, I believe there's a market for that. That's, bigger than
it's a really hidden niche. That's what people are saying. So we had we had a few big catering companies out of Ottawa and Ontario reach out to us here. They're supposed to be flying up here in the next week or 2 weeks. I'm not sure exactly when, but they seen it through one of our TikTok or Facebook ads too, and they're like, they've been looking for a long time for somebody to just maybe listen and to build something that they want instead of what everybody else has. And I think that's where we can really expand our barbecue side of the business, or the barbecue trailer side, is because we don't really care. Like, as long as we can use their imagination and our engineer and our drafting and put their vision into a computer pencil, we'll build it. And that's what he's like, are you sure? Like, I'm gonna ask you some hard questions. I'm like, man, I love a challenge. Like, it's good. And I think that's where we differ from everybody else, is don't dare us to do anything, because we'll take you up on it.
I know that about you. I know that.
Exactly.
I love it. One of your most endearing qualities, to be honest.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, they turned out better than what we expected. We just didn't, when we got drawing them, we just didn't stop. Like, it was just like, what else can we do to get the eye? And then now we're putting hot water tank. Like, it's just more stereos, bigger stereos, more granite. Now we're putting granite cutting boards on them, and just the stuff, right? We're learning as we go too. But now we got a few enclosed ones that we're going to do for some customers, and so
they're amazing. And anybody listening to this, you got to go check it out at Gordeyville Customs. And Gordeyville Custom Barbecues is, I think, going to be a page in its own thing here pretty soon. And with American Thanksgiving coming up, when I first saw these things, I was thinking tailgating. Like, I mean, there's a need for business, there's a need for communities, organizations, but man, you want to be the person that everyone comes to at the football stadium. Drag one of these barbecues there, or I think the other market is, you want to barbecue the best brisket and win the competition. They got to get a hold of you. So anybody who is looking for or interested, or their interest is piqued from this, check out Randy and Gordeyville Customs, because it is amazing what you guys are building there. Like, so cool.
Yeah. We actually did a barbecue for another local rental company, Mustang Rentals up here. And they ended up putting a smoker on it. So Yoder, we put a Yoder smoker on it, and that's kind of how that happened. So we put the smoker on this unit, and then that was part of one of our paid, one of our ads that we put out there. And then actually Yoder Canada seen this, and now we're working with Yoder to do something for one of their kind of like one of their guys, Rob Reinhardt. He's kind of a big deal in the Canadian world. He's a pit boss, Canadian pit boss master. So we're gonna do a trailer for them guys. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that. But,
give him a plug. It's good.
So we've got some really big traction going on. We're gonna start doing some stuff with Crown Verity and Yoder. We really want to. Our dream would be to take this barbecue world to the next level. We got asked to go down to Texas to like a kind of they're doing a big cook-off for a big huge oil field community event down there, and asked us to come down there to be one of their judges and to maybe introduce some of our stuff down there here at one point. So probably in the new year, we might entertain that. We're just going to try, we're going to do the Canada, blow this up here first, and then see where this goes. And then, and see where the trailers go. Like, I don't know where this is going yet. It's just where there's just so much momentum right now. That's, it's fun. It's good.
I love it. I love it. Well, we could talk, we could certainly talk all day, you and I, and we could tie this up for hours and hours, but I do want you to quickly tell me, what is Gordeyville in the future, and why are you building it, and what it means to you. And then I have one really, really kind of heartfelt question for you after that. But right
now, literally today, we just bought a break. We just bought our own press brake, hydraulic press brake. So now we can start doing our own bending and house and all this stuff. So Grand Prairie, where we're at, there's a bit of a gap. There's so many talented people here, but Grand Prairie as a hub is pretty busy. It's hard to get stuff done at certain points. I feel like there's a niche for a guy like us that's really not scared to take on the world. And what I mean by that, I don't mean any arrogance in that. We are in a hub of it's oil field town where we're at. It's probably the most winch tractors and tank trucks, and I would guess in most of Canada would be around this area. So everything is done out of Edmonton is kind of the closest hub. There could be a chance for us to really grow in that aspect too. I really want to take the barbecues to the next level. We're gonna do what we do first. Like we're gonna hit the barbecue world out of the park, and then these crew trucks. Like we're still learning, right?
Yeah.
There's a window of opportunity. I think that we could take this to the next level. Just because the team that we have now. It's pretty fortunate that we can have such a small group of people that can do so much, and I'd really like to grow it. I have some other opportunities in the background that people are coming to us to be part of. That's kind of rare. Like usually it's hard to find people, but we're fortunate enough to have people wanting to be here. So that tells us something that maybe we have a good thing going, and let's just run with it. We're going to run with it and see how it goes. Gordeyville Customs. I'd love to see this as a kind of a family-run business eventually, and then leave some kind of legacy behind. That would be honestly my dream, I think. But yeah, time will tell. I feel like we're on the right track. We've only been doing this for 2 years, and it seems like every month we're doing a little bit more. It's just after talking, been talking to you now, and you put it in perspective a lot of times. It's like, well, 3 weeks or 3 months ago, you guys, really, this is what you got going on. It's like, but when you're in the hot seat, you don't really realize it, right? Like it's
absolutely
you're in the flames. So it's so that's where I'm not going to slow down. I feel good about what we're doing, and we're just going to keep rolling with it.
I love it. Okay, so last question: what is the most meaningful piece of wisdom you would give to your kids, grandkids, or loved ones about life? What are you going to tell your kids that the most important thing in life is?
You know what? And after being in where I'm at now, and after being in a foreman role where I was, the biggest thing you can do is be good to everybody. Because in our world, it is so small. Like, and I see it time and time again where, even where I used to be in the crew truck world or whatever, like it's really easy to push in a certain direction. And maybe that's not the right direction when it comes to attitude or, anything. Right. But I just feel I was lucky enough. Well, maybe not lucky enough, maybe smart enough. I was always good to people.
You were.
But in this world, if you were that guy that, you just if you're good to people, it'll reward you later on in life. Because I could only imagine if I was some kind of a jackass going through what I did for 20 years, you know what I mean? And then now I'm dealing with every crew truck guy in the Peace Country here that I've worked with, all of them. The circles come around, and I just feel grateful that I've always got along with people. Your name is everything. So, that's one thing that is, we have a good name. We don't take advantage of situations. So I think if I had a piece of advice for my family or my boys or my daughter, it would be, you just take care of you and the people around you, and then the world will take care of yourself as well.
I love it. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming on and chatting
Absolutely.
with us and sharing all about your life and your business. And I'm so excited for your future and so grateful that you joined us here today. And for all of the listeners here on the Lean Into Lead podcast, thank you we want you to check this out, and please like it and share it. And also, Randy, just before we clean this up, we got a minute here. How can they get a hold of you? What's the best way to
Gordeyville Customs on Facebook. And we're just coming out with another, we're just doing another web page right now for our trailers. So right now it's all under Gordeyville Customs or Gordeyville. Yeah, no, everything's under the Gordeyville Customs on the internet and on our Facebook page.
That is awesome. And I know that they can connect with you on LinkedIn directly as well, because you're on there. And so anybody who wants to check out all the awesome stuff that Randy and his team do, please contact them directly, or you can reach out to me and I'll drive you to his house for so, and thank you all for listening. And I really appreciate you joining us on the Lean In to Lead podcast. Love you all.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Trevor.
Thanks.